All right, now moving on to the rest of the synths in the verse, um, starting out with this first guy here. So let's have a quick listen to this synth by itself so we just get another feel for what it's doing. So it actually comes in and it starts filtering up from very, very low. And then once it hits here where it says beat, that's really where it kind of stays filter-wise. So this filter was already written into this audio file. So just bear with, keep that in mind as you're listening. All right, so right off the bat, I noticed there is a lot of just kind of nasty, fuzzy, prickly stuff going on up at the top. So let's jump right in here to the beat. Actually, you know what? Let's go in here to the verse. So let's take a listen with everything else in there.
Never thought I would be standing face to face with you. It's almost way too good to be true.
Yeah, too much little prickly stuff up at the top. So let's pull open the EQ and check out what we've got going on here. So first off, let's go back through here. I cut everything out below 168 hertz. Just got rid of any of that low frequency information. We don't need it. Yes, it's kind of filtering up here at the beginning, but there's also a big bass boom right there. And we just didn't need any of that stuff. So got rid of all the low frequency information there below 168 hertz. And then we went over here to the high end. So let's play it here. I'm going to pull out these two guys. So I wanted to get rid of a lot of that high frequency stuff. So at right about 5.5K, a little bit, dropped it, put in a shelving EQ and dropped it about 12 dB. So here it is with and without that drop. And now let's do that with all the rest of the instruments playing.
Never thought I would be standing face to face with you. This reality is almost way too good to be true. Feel my heart.
Yeah, it helps clear up the top end of the mix by just pulling all of that stuff out of there. Now, there also was this nasty little brittle frequency in there, and I found it. It's right around 10K. Check it out. Let's listen to this little nasty thing. When I pull it out there, you can really hear that clear up. Let me push it up so you can hear it. So I grabbed an EQ band up here at the top end and just made a real narrow Q, pushed it up and swept it through until I found it. So it went something like this. There it is. And then we just pull it out and it just cleans that up quite a bit. So pulling out that nasty, scratchy thing, in addition to dropping, everything above 5K, really helps clear that sound up and gives it its own space kind of right in the middle of the mix. So check this out.
Never thought I would be standing face to face with you.
Again, this song or this sound isn't really supposed to be, taking your attention. So pulling off that high end stuff is totally okay with this sound. It's just kind of meant to be there in the background, kind of moving around a little bit. So moving on to the next plugin here, we've got BX Digital again. Now this one, I actually did go in and use the mid-side EQing here. So in the 1K area, in the middle of this sound, so pan to the middle. If you're listening on headphones, it's the sound that's right in the middle of your brain. I'm pulling out quite a bit right around 1K, about 971 hertz. So take a listen to how this sounds. Yeah, here we go.
Never thought I would be standing face to face with you.
You can hear that really, really defined pluck right in the middle of your head, right in the middle of the stereo field, and it was fighting with the vocal as I moved through the mix and got the vocals up. I came back and added this, and this really just helped the sound kind of spread out and be more in the background. I did dip a little bit with a much wider Q on the side section. So again, this is the mono section, and these are the sides or the stereo section. So I just pulled out a little bit right around close to the same thing, but 845, and it's a nice wide Q, and just dropped it a dB and a half or so. And I did end up putting a little bit more stereo width on here. So let's take another listen to this guy with the stereo width. Now bypass it. Yeah, that really helps it meld into the background and just be this, supporting kind of whirling thing that it is. So this was definitely added after the initial EQing of the Cambridge, and it was fighting with the vocals, so came back and fixed it.